So let's start at the top as usual. So please, if you would tell our listeners who you are and why you wrote the book.
Who am I? Well, I am Michael Brown. I'm an author, and which is a fairly recent career development, I have to say. And prior to that, I'm an entrepreneur, long-term founder of creative industries business, and or businesses more correctly, and it's an anecdotal tale from one of those businesses that leads me to the story of, behind the book, which is that I'd spectacularly fallen out with my fellow shareholders, if you like, in a business that I'd founded and run for nearly a decade as the managing director, and I guess it's fair to say that what started as everyday minor boardroom disputes, if you like, over the direction of the enterprise, turned into what could only be described as a power struggle, and that, I guess, that was a reasonably protracted period of time. But it culminated one fine day, and fine's not really quite the right adjective to use, in what could only be described as a public firework display, shall we say, of red hot emotions on the office floor, literally in front of everybody who worked for us. The behaviours didn't have much dignity, and while it was, I guess, for a witness, would have been compelling viewing, we might have sold front row seats on Ticketmaster. I think I used that line in the book. There was no going back from that flare up. The fallout threatened the security of a young family I had at the time, a lot older now. It certainly disrupted the highly valued team we'd put together. It cost all the partners in the business. There were two other shareholders apart from me, a small fortune in legal fees, and a business we'd given so much to turned, well, to ashes, essentially, in the aftermath of that. And obviously, as you might expect, that got me to the period after that got me into, well, a whole load of soul searching. Could we have done things differently? The answer to that is of course, definitely. Knowing how to, and that was a completely different matter. And I guess of all the questions I asked myself in that period of reflection, one kept coming back, and it was, did my business partners have a position in this ongoing argument that was at least as valid as mine? And it did take me a long time to reach any kind of conclusion on that, which was, yes, they definitely did. And of course, that is the problem, is that with disagreement, it escalates when you try to sort it out. And in fact, one of the interesting things I found in my journey, because that was the precursor to the journey to the book, one of the interesting things which I certainly didn't recognize in myself was this psychological phenomena, which is known as attribution bias. And that's where the deadlocks that prevent everyone moving forward in an argument or a negotiation or a disagreement are likely to be blamed on the other side by both sides, which is mad, isn't it, really? So I guess one of my failures was a failure to recognise my attribution bias, and it was in that sort of failure I thought, there's not really a lay person's guide to conflict and conflict resolution. There's all this science about it, and ordinary people who are just trying to establish a business don't know too much. So I thought here's a business idea. Why don't I create a layperson's guide to conflict resolution, but uniquely resolution in context of looking at the perspective from the person on the other side of the argument, taking perspective.